Hi,
Um,
welcome, welcome to the bigger issues with James and Nick.
yeah, that's the intro now. Like,
Uh,
forget the old intro.
that
We'll
yeah,
this is the new one.
that's
Um,
all the success.
hang on a sec. Whoa,
Yeah,
we didn't mention this before, did we? So
mention what?
so because this whole podcast thing it's bigger issues, and then like we wanted to make sure we've got like an equal standing kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
So so we're swapping the order of the names each episode.
yeah.
Um, so last time it was Nick and James, and this time it's James and Nick.
James and Nick.
Um, and Stanley, but Stanley's
Yeah, Stanley's still there,
yeah, he's not really saying much.
rocking, and yeah.
Okay, well, this time, right, we're super prepared because we've got a whole list of things to talk about.
Actually, only has 4 items.
Yeah, he sends me this list in Skype, and it's called txt.txt, and it's 49 bytes in size.
I
That's
I was gonna make one like a while ago, but then I just kind of forgot. So yeah, like as you mentioned it like earlier, I just kind of made it on the spot then.
preparation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently the first thing we're going to talk about is triangles.
Well, I
And
mean, you say apparently that it was your idea.
it was my idea, and honestly, I don't even know what I was thinking. So,
I
like,
don't even know triangles. What the hell's a triangle?
well, it's a side with three a side with three shapes,
A side with 3 shapes. Okay. What else?
a shape with three sides, three
Yeah.
corners,
Vertices.
vertices. Yeah, well, no, vertices is in a 3D shape. You can say corners if it's a
Yeah, I
2D
want to say
shape.
vertices.
Fair enough. And you know, triangles make up a large amount of the things in our world, and they have very good structure. For
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's there's a whole load more we could talk about triangles, like you know, trigonometry and stuff, but that's just boring.
That's really
Or-
boring.
Yeah, so let's
Can we
not
tick
do
off
that.
triangles then?
Yeah, okay, triangles is done. What's next? Hang on. That's not the right. Oh
The
no.
next one is realism in media.
Real. Oh yeah. So like I don't know how long, like a few days ago, maybe a week ago, PBS Idea Channel did a video about like how realistic things should be and how things should be portrayed in TV and movies. And I thought it was really interesting. So like, for instance, like in the film Gravity, which like I've seen fairly recently, there's for it's has a lot of accuracy in terms of how sound is portrayed and things, but there's certain elements of the plot which are completely inaccurate to how they would work in space, and that really irritated me because like considering they're making such a big deal about being dead kind of realistic and everything,
Yeah.
to then mess up the plot like that, it irritated me.
Yeah.
So there was that thing on shower thoughts as well. Someone put a while ago, which is that like people in TV and movies should always like do CPR correctly, and
Yeah.
like
The-
people
I
have a
mean, the way
response.
the way I see it is if you're gonna, have some CPR in your TV or film, you have like no reason not to show it like correctly.
It's just kind of lazy, isn't it? Really,
Yeah,
because over time, if enough TV shows and films show CPR done correctly for enough amount of time, then people will just sort of know and be able to do it,
do it. Yeah,
or at least do something close which may save someone's life, as opposed to
precisely.
just kind of pumping on their chest a bit, which doesn't do loads. I think it's like the other bits as well.
Yeah,
I got that first aid badge in Scouts that
yeah.
a while ago. That we did CPR for that. I can't remember it. So
That's because it's not being portrayed effectively in the media. So that's obviously why you've forgotten.
Yeah, that's it. It's all Michael Bay's fault.
Michael Bay, is he
Him
personally
specifically.
responsible for this?
Well, I have sort of a personal vendetta against Michael Bay. Well, it's not really a vendetta.
A personal vendetta.
I just don't like him.
As a person.
And this isn't a unique thing to me. I get the feeling a lot of people don't like him. Or maybe that's just me misinterpreting things. Maybe everyone thinks he's really awesome. I mean, film studios certainly seem to think he's really awesome because they keep giving him money.
I don't think they just give him money. He has to do stuff.
Does he though?
Well, he does. He must do something.
Yeah, ruin Transformers, I guess.
Oh, right, okay. So Nick is a massive Transformers fan, and
yeah, they're great.
So his reason for hating Michael Bay is because he ruined the Transformers franchise in his films.
He didn't really ruin it. He just kind of like took it and then made it the new. Now, there was a video that the Fine Bros did, which was kids react to 80s Transformers, and they showed a load of like kids the opening sequence, the original Transformers cartoon, which was really bad. Like I'm not defending it here or anything. It was absolutely awful.
Okay.
But like the what's really fascinating about the video is the kids there think that the Michael Bay films are the original Transformers, and those are Transformers.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, like they've been sort of misportrayed almost as that.
I'll tell you another thing.
I feel.
I mean, I used to watch loads of kids react. I don't watch it as much anymore. I barely watch it now. But one thing I did watch kids react to the Game Boy. And it was really weird because they look at it and they're like, okay, some of them know what it is, most of them don't, and then they get to have a little play on it, and then they're like, how did people like survive in the olden days? I like without their iPad, it's like I would have hated to live back then, and you kind of look at like, yeah, but if you really think about it, you wouldn't have hated it because that's what there was, and that was, you know, for the time, that was great, that was fantastic. They don't have a proper perspective of it.
No, but over time, culture changes as technology progresses and philosophy progresses, and so sure, the Game Boy was revolutionary, but is it still revolutionary?
Yes, I can still enjoy just sitting and playing Tetris for half an hour. I can still find enjoyment in that. So
I could as well, but that's not a revolution. I could sit and play Town of Salem and get half an hour's enjoyment out of that. Is Town of Salem revolutionary because it does that?
No,
it's not.
Because but the Game Boy was the first. Because it sold so many units, didn't it? It was the most, you know, the most popular handheld ever, and it was fantastic at what it did.
The key word here is was. You know.
Yes, but
like,
it paved the way for literally every other handheld game console since. If you were to say that nowadays, you know, if you look at the iPhone and the iPad, and you've got all your apps on there, and that's what young kids seem to do these days. They get their parents' iPad and they play on games on there. If it weren't for the Game Boy, that, you know, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have that mentality that you can play those games on the go, kind of thing, I reckon.
No, I disagree, actually.
No, well,
hang on. I do disagree, because in our timeline, like history as it is right now, the Game Boy was the thing that made handheld games a mainstream thing and made it a vision that game companies would have. Sort of. But if the Game Boy had never been produced, what's to say someone else, say Sony or Microsoft, would have later gone, Oh, you know what? I really wish I could go on the Xbox while I'm in the car, or
Well,
while I'm.
but I mean, Nintendo weren't the first. Well, I mean, I mean, they made the Game and Watch systems, and they were like handheld game systems, but they weren't. They were good, but not overly successful. But like, Sega before the Game Boy was even released had their Game Gear, which was in color, um, which the Game Boy wasn't, and that was already a thing.
Okay, well, so what are you saying here?
Well,
How does that counteract my argument that
I'm saying that
those?
I'm saying that I think the Game Boy specifically, if it hadn't have happened in that way at that time, things would have been very different.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because like a lot of games that were on the Game Boy still exist today in one form or
In
another, don't
various
they?
forms, yeah.
So Tetris is still going and everything.
Hey,
But
Tetris.
yeah, but hang on, because Tetris, when you buy that now, like when it on the 3DS, when the 3DS came out, wasn't like Tetris 3D or something.
Well, you see, Tetris itself is quite an interesting case because it was originally created by some Russian dude, um, but he didn't like copyright it or anything. So when Nintendo made their version of Tetris on the NES, and then made Tetris on the Game Boy as well and stuff, that it started to come into question. Well, hang on, who actually owns Tetris? And there was some massive legal dispute, and I think eventually Nintendo managed to come out sort of having the rights to Tetris, but then, like since then, there's still been loads of questions as to who actually owns Tetris, and Nintendo have released subsequent versions of Tetris, up as late as Tetris 3D on the 3DS, but I think that's difficult to find now because after its release, there were legal disputes over who owns Tetris.
So wait, Tetris 3D is hard to find.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of this.
Well,
I mean, there was loads of copies in the stores back when the 3DS came out.
back when the 3DS came out, sure, but I mean, I think nowadays it's not like really easy to get hold of because legal trouble with Tetris. I was gonna say,
What was
let me just have
that?
hey?
That sound there, like it sounded great over the microphone. That's
Yeah, that
all.
was me reaching onto my bed to get my little box of DS games.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, I have one of those.
I mean, right, hang on. Can I just make a point here, which is that, like, the Tetris 3D, when it came out, cost, like, somewhere in the region of £30 to £40.
Yeah, it costs full like retail price to
And
me.
I was thinking, it's Tetris. Like, if I wanted to, I could probably buy some older console and the older console's version of Tetris and play that for less than the £30, whatever, just for the 3D gimmick. And I reckon that put a lot of people. I mean, there's a website on the internet just called Free Tetris. That's just you go on there and you can play Tetris and that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's free. You only have to have the price of like your note thing, lap, whatever. Not a laptop, like the smaller thing. What's it called, James? The
Hey?
Netbook. That's it. Netbook.
Yeah.
The really little ones. You can get one of those,
Oh, yeah.
and you can play free Tetris.
So I can't find the actual the game card itself right this second. I may have lost it. I don't know.
Wait. You had Tetris 3D?
No, I
Oh.
don't. I've never owned Tetris 3D. But I don't know when Tetris 3D was released. I'm assuming it was at
Right, you know what?
the start of the 3DS's life. So it was around 2011. Yeah.
I'm just looking it up. Tetris 3D.
It would have been 2011. I reckon.
No, I've just looked up 3D Tetris on the internet, and I've got a Wikipedia article here for a game which is 1996 for the Virtual Boy.
Okay.
And wow,
No,
that's all I can say.
So we'll go with 2011 Tetris 3D. Okay.
Yeah.
I was in Toys R Us a while ago, and I found a 3DS game called Tetris Ultimate. It's got a little symbol on the front of the box. It says official Tetris product, www.tetris.com. It's got on the back, it's got the original Nintendo seal of quality. The game, the copyrights are for 1985 to 2014. So this was presumably released last year, this Tetris Ultimate. Do you know who it was developed by, though?
Who?
Ubisoft.
What?
It was developed by Ubisoft, presumably published by Nintendo, licensed by Nintendo at least, and it was released last year, and it's for the 3DS, and it's a Tetris game.
Oh,
Isn't that weird?
that is weird.
See, this is the thing with Tetris. It's just shrouded in all these legal things to do with ownership of the rights to it.
It's just Tetris though. Hang on. Right, I think I've got it. Tetris Axis? Was this it?
No. What's that?
Well, there's a game called Tetris Axis, and it says it was simply released as Tetris in some regions. So maybe that was one. Hang on.
What console?
3DS.
3DS.
This was the first 3DS one.
Was it? I swear it was called Tetris 3D.
3D Tetris is the only one called that. There's nothing like that. No.
Okay, I'm getting the 3DS out and I'm checking the eShop because the thing is with retail games, I think they appear on the eShop, but some of them you can't download. So, oh gosh, this is turning into a bit of a
this is too much. Right. In the meantime, I've got a quote here because remember how last episode we said we were going to talk about inflation.
Yes.
Well, neither of us have bothered to do any real research into inflation.
No.
So to kind of cover up like this small failing, I've got a quote from the internet by a man called Ronald Reagan. No idea who he is.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan was a US president.
Was he?
He was. He was a president during, I think, either the 70s or 80s.
Oh.
He was during the Cold War, and yeah, he was the one that signed loads of treaties with Mikhail Gorbachev, who was the Russian president, and they signed loads of some treaties like to do with
yeah.
It was basically the start of the end of the Cold War. Yeah,
wow.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, that sounds more familiar, but like it's written Reagan, and you know how I pronounce things. I can't pronounce things.
Okay, go on.
So the quote is, right, inflation is as violent as a mugger, as frightening as an armed robber, and as deadly as a hitman. But I'm actually questioning the validity of this quote, to be honest. Like, inflation? If I was confronted by inflation and a robber pointing a gun at me,
yeah,
I'd be more worried about the robber. Like,
would you?
I don't know. Yeah, I would.
But runaway inflation causes you to lose all your money anyway.
But not necessarily. Inflation on its own isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's when it gets out of hand that it becomes a problem. So for the average person, you know, inflation isn't that bad, really. And it says it's deadly, but you know, when was the last time inflation was a direct cause of somebody's death?
Well, I suppose it was the last time that hyperinflation caused somebody to not be able to afford to feed themselves, which was probably the last time there was hyperinflation.
But you see, I reckon someone was killed by a hitman just yesterday.
Do you?
I do. I think there are enough hitmen and enough
Does
people in
this
this
does
world.
this is this by from your knowledge of statistics of hitman killings
Yeah,
worldwide?
I mean,
Okay.
I frequently visit .onion websites. No,
Do
no, I
you?
don't report me. I don't visit .onion websites. I don't know
You're
how
not
to
you're not
access
on the
them.
deep web, Nick.
No, I'm not. I don't know anything about Hitman, other than that there's a popular video game series titled Hitman that's about one such person.
Have you ever played Hitman?
I haven't, no.
Oh, you should do. It's good. I mean, well, I played like the first bit of Absolution, but it was good, and I would like to play the rest.
Is that all there is to say about it?
Um,
Or
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
the question is, does Hitman Absolution have realistic weather effects?
I don't know.
Fallout 4 is going to have dynamic weather.
Okay, well, good for it, I suppose.
I don't quite know the relevance of that, to be honest. Like, Fallout 4 and Hitman, they're not really comparable. But the weather right now, like, it's the middle of summer, and it seems like we've finally got all of the good weather that we've been owed, like,
Oh gosh,
in 2 days or something. So
yeah,
yesterday,
it's pretty extreme.
it was a pretty sunny 27 degrees. I mean, right now it's really grey outside. It looks like it's going to rain. In fact, it has rained. It rained about an hour ago.
Wasn't there a storm last night?
Was there?
Thunder and lightning.
Oh, I must have slept. I slept through that.
Well, it was there was thunder and lightning when I was coming back from London.
Oh yeah, you went to London. How was London?
London was good. Yeah, it was quite good. Really warm, but yeah, good.
Okay. So yeah. I mean, like, 27 degrees. Is 27 degrees a lot? Like,
Well,
it feels like a lot to us.
yeah. Well, I mean, like yesterday when I was in London, about midday, it was getting to like 35 degrees.
Oh,
That is hot.
that's warm.
Cause if you think right, because our body temperature is regulated at 37 degrees, isn't it?
So that's pretty much like being inside a large human being.
Yeah, but of course, but I mean, your body does so much like heating up and stuff, and yeah, it's yeah. It has to do so much regulation. Right? Can I talk about the Tetris stuff now? Because
You got all the information. Go on.
So
go
I've
for
got
it.
some information. So the eShop no longer lists Tetris 3D.
Oh,
Okay. I don't know when the last time I checked and saw it there was, but it's not there anymore, from what I can tell right now. Tetris Ultimate's there. A game that I own that I've lost the game card to. And also there's a video with new download software for the 22nd of December. I'm assuming that this is like 2011 or 2012. And it lists in the Virtual Console the Game Boy version of Tetris for download, but that does not appear to be there, as you don't seem to be able to download the Game Boy version of Tetris anymore either.
right. Well,
from what I can see.
Wikipedia seems to be talking about a Tetris company.
Yeah.
There's
one of
like an
those.
official website to Tetris. It says there's going to be some film called Pixels, which I've seen the trailer for. Yeah, Pixels it's called. So basically, like a load of people fight against a load of classic arcade video games that come into the real world.
Right, okay, that sounds really stupid.
Yeah, it is, because I've seen the trailer, and it really is just as stupid as it sounds.
I'll tell you what, are you familiar with Freddie W?
I am familiar with that. Freddie W did it way better in the trailer.
Yeah, with his old school versus new school video.
Yeah,
where he's got loads. He's got his Lara Croft's, his Nathan Drake's, his Scout, his Ezio's fighting against like the Centipede from Centipede, Lunar Lander, Asteroids, Pong, Tetris, tanks from some tank game. Yeah, that was good. That's a good video.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in ages, but yeah.
Well, it'll be linked in the description for anyone listening.
I imagine most people will have already seen it. To be honest, like
Oh,
how many
you don't know.
subs does this guy have? I
He's
don't
got a
know. Yeah,
lot. He's good. I mean, I don't watch his videos as much now as I used to do, but I really, yeah, yeah.
right.
Uh,
Well, glad we cleared up the whole Tetris shenanigan thing for the most
should we
part.
carry on with the list?
Well, I've looked at the list. That's what I've been doing. So we've
Oh,
got inflation.
you've done everything in the
We've
list.
got inflation. We've done inflation. We've got the
Yeah,
weather,
we've
as
done
all British
we've done
people
weather.
do. We've
Yeah,
got
I mean,
realism in media. And we've got triangles.
mm,
So yeah, that's everything. I mean,
wow.
this episode's taken like 20 minutes longer than it should have done to record because beforehand we were looking at a new bit of software.
It did not work. I
Didn't
need to speak to Matt about it, get that sorted out because it should work. But honestly, I reckon because we've changed the setup now a little bit from last time. Last time I was talking directly into my phone's mic, but now I'm actually using the mic I use for my Moose of the World videos and stuff, and just a pair of headphones into my phone, and it seems to well. Looking at Audacity, it looks like it's working better.
Oh yeah. So now the moment of truth, right? We finish recording. We go on
Yeah,
Audacity
and listen to it.
and we see if it's actually worked.
if
Because
this
if it
has
hasn't,
failed,
then wow, that's like.
tables are going to get flipped.
I mean, this Skype call's up to 32 minutes and 10 seconds now.
Mm.
So that's
Yeah.
32 minutes and 10 seconds we'll never get back. 30
Yeah.
minutes 10 seconds you'll never get
Unless
back.
we can just unless we can just do a quick deal with the devil.
Well, no, James, come on.
But I mean,
Like,
it'd be so easy.
it wouldn't be so easy because the devil doesn't exist.
Well, if you think that,
I do think that.
yes.
Was that edgy religious?
Well, it might be. I don't know. There is little to no proof that the devil does in fact exist. I don't believe that the devil exists. You don't believe that the devil exists. So
maybe the real beast is us.
that's very possible.
That was Simon from Lord of the Flies, in case anyone was wondering. It's a
Yeah.
great book. Really.
Yeah, Lord of the Flies is a good book.
Like the one good book we did for English GCSE.
Hey, you can't knock To Kill a Mockingbird.
I can not.
You can because you hate Atticus.
I absolutely dislike that book.
Atticus is so good.
That's the point. That's the whole point. Why I don't like it.
No, but he has flaws.
Does he?
Yeah, he
Can
does.
you actually give me a genuine flaw, a genuine moment that defines him as a well-rounded character, as opposed to just some stereotype?
Yeah,
When?
it's like, you know, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure if I have enough time to think about it, I can. Yeah.
Fair enough. that could be next week's episode.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we're done here.
We are.
Pretty much. So
make
should
sure
you like
you
an outro?
should subscribe to this channel. Check links in the description. There'll be links to all the topics we mentioned, and also links to our other channels, Moose of the World Games, Nick's YouTube channel, and his Tumblr.
My channel, right? My channel is actually going to have a new video on it very soon. That I'm doing.
I'm actually looking forward to this because this is going to be good.
Because you know what it is, and I know what it is, but
Yeah.
no one else in the world knows what it is. It's a secret for a few days.
Super secret.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So thanks all for watching then, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Hopefully. Farewell.